Kit changes everything. With the right kit, you're ready for anything. United, connected, unstoppable. Whatever your sport, we are your sporting partner. Creating your kit your way. For every team, for every challenge, for every aspiration. Feel seen, feel ready, feel part of the team. Kit on, game on. right kit changes everything. With the right kit, you're ready for anything. United, connected, unstoppable. Whatever your sport, we are your sporting partner. Creating your kit your way. For every team, for every challenge, for every aspiration. Feel seen, feel ready, feel part of the team. Kit on, game on.
If you're a fervent rugby fan in the UK, this fixture has been unavoidable. It's been splashed across the papers, all over the internet. And no, I'm not talking about that European Cup competition at the Rec tonight. You're in exactly where you need to be. The heart of English rugby. It's the national one, top of the table, ding-dong, between RAMS and Richmond. Two sides locked on points, separated by virtue that Richmond have one draw more than RAMS. This is the centre of the rugby universe as far as English rugby is concerned tonight. Old Bath Road is pumping, and you're here along for the ride on Next Gen 15. I'm Joe Burns, delighted to be bringing you the action. Alongside me, I have Chris Hill, who there is nothing that this man doesn't know about National League rugby, and we've got Paddy Conlon, well, and as you can quite clearly see, a RAMS man enjoying, Paddy, a bumper crowd here tonight for, well, I mean, it's a magic night of two tides right at the top.
It does. It's building nicely. You know, we're 20 minutes from kickoff. I'm looking around
Old Bath Road. There's a lot of people here. Normally we do well to get 1,000. Look as if we'll be getting more than that today. And it's building nicely. I think it's going to be a bit of a cracker. Absolute cracker.
Well, to let you in on a little secret is what I heard, that there were over 1,000 tickets sold, pre-sold by Wednesday. So they're talking about 1,500 to 2,000. And I guess, yeah, it's going to be a bumper crowd, the biggest potentially. But that's not completely out of court for what RAMS are building here. This is not the first time. Whoa, here we go. There's a bit of action here with the ball coming in. It's not the first time that the RAMS have found themselves towards the top and with a big match here.
It's not, and it's... you don't say you come to expect it here, but the last couple of seasons, RAMS have finished, there's no getting away from it, second. So we're used to these top-of-the-table clashes. We're used to a couple of Friday night lights with some of the teams we've played and battled with at the top through the seasons. So this isn't unheard of. And 1,300 is our record so far, so we're hoping tonight to smash that. And the boys will put on a good show, no doubt.
Okay, thank you, Paddy. Look, Chris, we are here not to just enjoy this game, but actually to really celebrate National League rugby and kind of where it's at the moment. And, you know, you're a journalist who knows this sort of level of the English rugby tier intimately. talk to us about this fixture and just kind of the landscape at the moment.
I mean, Paddy touched on it there, Joe. You know, Rams have been involved in some fabulous seasons in National 1, and this one, yet again, seems to be going in the same direction. You know, this is a top-of-the-table battle tonight, but it seems like a really important month for all the sides currently in the top 4, really, and Rams and Richmond are very much at the centrepiece of that. It's a brilliant product, Joe, and again, as Paddy mentioned, the crowd here tonight is just sensational, and we hope we see that not just tonight, but from now until the rest of the season.
Okay, so the picture and the scene has been painted for you. We've got the Rams representation. We're not going to do you dirty, Richmond. You're going to come with me, guys. We're going to leave the lads over there, and we're going to come over to the head of rugby at Richmond, Rob Powell, who is cutting a chilled-out disposition.
I am, Joe. Yes, thank you. How are you?
Oh, well, thank you, Rob. I haven't caught up with you for a while. So tell me, are the nerves jingling and jangling ahead of this big clash?
Not really. I think, you know, we've been in these types of games before. We have got a young squad. We just want to hope that they don't get too over-energised and try too hard, because actually we know that we'll be fine. We'll be all right tonight.
I mean, the league isn't won and lost tonight, is it? It's a long old season. We know that there can be lots of twists and turns in National 1, but in terms of laying the marker down of Richmond's ambitions, how key is this match tonight?
Yeah, I think it's an important block of 3 games coming up. It'll give us an indication of where we might be towards the end of the season. But I think your first point's the most accurate, that we don't lose the league tonight, and actually we're probably the underdogs and got less pressure on us. You know, it's a big game for Rams at home, and we don't have any expectations this year coming into league. We want to finish near the top, but I know they want to win the league, so I don't think the pressure's on us. I think it's on them.
Okay, so you say there's no expectations. I think that people who will have watched the fortunes of Richmond, they'll have seen them come down from the Championship. Last year was a very mixed bag. However, you're undefeated. Do you feel you're ahead of where you wanted Richmond or expected Richmond to be at this stage of, I guess, a rebuild of what the club's about?
Well, I think the expectation was that we needed to have that rebuild, and that we brought in some young players that were going to take us on a bit of a journey with the club, and they probably over-exceeded what we thought they were able to do in terms of potential versus what they can actually put on into practice. But we'll learn a lot more in the next 3 weeks, so we're going to have 3 bigger games, and you know, if we're not good, then we'll struggle. And these lads will learn a bit about the group, how we deal with adversity. If we have a blip tonight or next week or the week after, how do we react to that? And that's probably the test over the next 5 years' time, because the average age of this team is 24, so they're a young team, and we've got to remember that. And we're not putting any pressure on them. We just want them to enjoy it and come forward with the club, and you know, we'll be fine. And I'm excited about this group and what they can do and where we're going to get to with them.
What's pleased you most about them?
How they've bought into culture. So every one of those guys over there is absolutely bought into the club. All the lads that came out of the Super Bucks have been fantastic recruits. Sam Pym coming over from Ireland. Everyone has added, so everyone's known what Richmond's about. We're a tight-knit group of people. We spend a lot of time with each other on and off the field. We enjoy each other's company, and we think that the power of our team is more important than the power of the individuals, and that's always been the case while I've been at the club.
Good league, that Buck Super Rugby.
They are. It's a very good league, and it's growing. It's getting stronger, and it's got some good commentary sometimes, doesn't it?
Why, world class, I hear.
It depends on who's doing it.
I think it's the other bloke who's doing this game tonight, thank God. So
yeah, Dave is very good. Yeah, thank you.
Outstanding, Dave. Right, look, some are going to be tuning in and they haven't been able to get down to the athletic ground to see this new crop that you're excited about. Can you pick out some players who you're particularly looking forward to see, or you want to have a big game tonight?
I think it's really important how those tight forwards go, the young ones. So, Bavacua has been great, and Goffey, and we need to see those guys in these big, tough games. And I think there's been some excitement around Cal Grieve, the goal kicker, who's, he's done a great job. So I just think that all across the park we've got a lot of exciting players, and that's not to mention the guys that were last year, like a Chidi Obana, who's been outstanding, and if he gets the ball in space, we know he'll break the line and score tries. So we're just excited about the group.
Pally, appreciate your time as always. You got final words of wisdom to impart. I'll let you get back with the group. You guys are going to come round with me and we're going to rejoin our sort of little makeshift studio right here on the halfway line, which, as you can see, we're in the thick of the action. So you guys might not have heard an awful lot of that, a lot of positive chat about a new group coming in for Richmond and buying into the culture. Buying into the culture, I think one of the things that Rob Powell said there was no individual outshines what the club is as a whole. And I get the sense about that with Rams, and I know that there's been a lot of new players coming in as well. This isn't the same group that has come close twice. There's elements of it, but there's also new blood in here.
It's not the same group, and culture is talked about a lot in rugby, and here at Rams it's something that's very important to the club. The way in which people, and the management team are very conscientious about getting players in who fit that mould. They won't bring players in who won't fit what goes on off the pitch. So it's very important to have the players who are going to come here, buy into what we want to do and what the club want to do, and that in effect will take the club forward. And there are, there's some players today who's making their first starts. It's a hell of a baptism of fire for a few of them, but those players have bettered themselves in. They've trained. A few guys on loan from Premiership clubs as well, again, who've bettered themselves in and trained, but proved themselves to the rest of the squad before they get that shirt. So it should be interesting, some of the new boys. That brings with it new mechanics around different parts of the game, which could be interesting against a team who are strong in the tight, to say the least. So it'll be a test for them. It'll be a test for that new group of players coming together.
Let's talk about the personnel, because we touched on it with Powley there. No captain, no Max Heyman for Rams, who is not...
I wouldn't go as far as saying no captain on that pitch. The Ramley would be disappointed with that one.
I will allow you to take the floor here, because
yeah, well, Max
got a legend in the engine
Max
room.
Isn't available, so I mean, in some of the press pre-game, Seb alluded to the fact that Robbie Stapley was asked to go up into the row, and Seb also alluded a couple of years ago he might have had a slightly different response to that question, but he's done it and he'll do it. And Robbie's been around for years, and he's a Ram through and through, and he'll go out there and he'll be in that end room and he'll work hard. He'll make some hits, he'll do what he has to, which then allows James McRae to come in at number 8, which sets up a bit of a head-to-head with Richmond's number 8. So James McRae's a very different player to Robbie. Robbie would enjoy it more in the tight. James would enjoy it a little bit more in the loose. So maybe that could be a view into what we might see on the pitch.
Sam Pym, the Richmond number 8, very hard carrying individual, and he's been one of the standout players for Richmond. And I mean, Robbie Stapley, he's not shy of a try either. I think it's 105 all told for Rams.
Yeah, but in reality, a lot of them are at the end, on the back of a scrum. So 105 probably pushing it a little bit for him.
You wouldn't be a true friend if you weren't discrediting his centurion achievement, right? And a couple of very nice wingers as well for Rams in Axel, the Swedish international, and Zach Clow too.
Every time I watch Axel, it's as if he seems to defy the laws of physics. When he'll get tackled and his legs just keep going, and he'll get through that break, and he'll either go himself or give it off to someone else. And Zach's his feet are unreal. And talk about stepping somebody in a phone box. He's the man you want to step somebody in that position. So if we can get the ball out wide, it should be interesting. It should be fun.
And just one last player I want to touch on, and again you alluded to the situation, is Jake Murray, who's come in at 9. He's featured 3 times already. He's formerly of Exeter University. He's on the books at Harlequins. He is a fine player, but it's a big game for a young man to come in for a top of the table clash and kind of not have spent loads of time in a Rams jersey and be charged with dictating that tempo and that style of play.
There's no doubt about it. It's going to be difficult, but I mean I think the fact that he's got that shirt obviously speaks a lot about him and his character. I don't know him, but I would imagine the fact that he's got that shirt would lead to the fact that he's ready for it. They wouldn't put him in there if he wasn't there. He's done some work at the Rams before, and obviously spent some time in the professional environment, so he obviously knows what he's doing.
Chris, let's warm you up. I've had you stood in the cold for a little bit there.
I've got about 4 layers on today, Joe. I'm all right.
Mate, it's all about the heated waistcoat. That's the pro's choice, everybody. I can't afford one, but so I hear from the guys on TNT. We were talking about the league. We were talking about National League Rugby as a whole, and events like this, occasions like this.
Yeah, it's, as I said before, it's very, very special, these kind of nights. And what we're trying to strive for is more Friday night games as well, because the crowd you get is absolutely unbelievable, and I just think the product needs to be showcased a lot more. And I keep banging the drum, and I might be a bit biased, but I actually think this is the biggest game of domestic rugby this weekend. You know, with the Premiership teams in European action, the Championship beginning tomorrow, there's only really one place everybody's eyes need to be on, and that's tonight. And it's a fabulous product, Joe. And I know I keep repeating myself, but it gets better every single year, and I think this is the pinnacle of it probably tonight.
Well, it's a big Christmas block for all of the top 4 teams. Rotherham Titans, the 2 that we're seeing here today, and Rosslyn Park. They're all going to play each other in this kind of like informal top of the tree round robin, and it's also going to potentially open up opportunities for the likes of Birmingham, Moseley, Bishop Stortford, who are kind of the chasing pack.
Yeah, it's like the fixture computer made it happen over Christmas, didn't it? You know, we had Rotherham versus RAMS the other week, but Richmond have got to play, obviously, RAMS tonight, and then they've got Rotherham and Rosslyn Park before Christmas. RAMS are away to Rosslyn Park next week, just trying to remember it all in my head. It's just a fabulous time for the league. And as you say, Joe, with these teams playing each other, it might open a door for a 5th place Blackheath or a 6th place Birmingham Moseley. Who knows? But Blackheath are playing really well at the moment as well, 4 wins in the last 5. So it's going to be a fascinating few weeks leading up to Christmas.
I didn't prepare you for this, but who would you say at this stage of the season is going to come out on top?
Do you know who's behind the camera? The RAMS CEO. So at this stage, it's so difficult to call. What I will say, and I'm absolutely going to sit on the fence, Joe, I'm not going to answer your question straight up.
Just what I'd love to hear.
You know, it's been fine margins over the last couple of years. I think tonight does go a long way to seeing who takes that first step forward. We've only really seen 1 real battle between the top 4, 2 real battles between the top 4 so far, and it's been down to fine margins, with Rosslyn Park losing to Richmond early on in the season, and, you know, 2 weeks ago with Rotherham Titans edging out RAMS. So you're not really getting a sense of anyone taking the upper hand at the moment, but maybe tonight we might see something different.
Lovely stuff. Thank you.
On the fence.
Firmly sat on the fence. Well, you can firmly go and sit on the sidelines. Thank you to you, Paddy, for your time. So you're going to be up on commentary as well?
With you, yeah.
You're going to be up on commentary, so your time to dash to the top, because Dave Rogers is lying in a wait. Bath v Stade La Rochelle at the Rec. No, thank you. It is Old Bath Road on Friday Night Lights for a top-of-the-table ding-dong in National 1. RAMS v Richmond. Whoever wins this will be in the box seat heading into the festive block of fixtures as Christmas top of the log. 80 minutes to find out who that'll be. Up to you, D-Rog.
Oh, Burnsy, lovely stuff. Welcome, everybody. If you've just joined us, please rewind. We've had 15 minutes of brilliant build-up with Burnsy, Chris and Paddy, but now we are looking forward to this one under the Friday Night Lights. It is Richmond top of the tree. RAMS just behind them, 49 points each after 11 games. Only 2 undefeated teams in the National League structure. Richmond 1, Lim the other, and maybe after tonight it'll just be Lim top of the tree. The rain has started to fall. We are patiently waiting for the storm to arrive. Hopefully it stays quiet for the next couple of hours and we can get a great game of rugby between these 2 teams. With that in mind, let's take a look at the squads that have been named this evening. Both teams with great blends of youth and experience. Oh, that rain's just got a load heavier. First of all, let's talk about RAMS. In the front row, Paddy Harris, Morgan McRae and James Baker. Baker, the most experienced player in this club by a mile. Over 400 first-team appearances. The first start for Morgan McRae as well. Robbie Stapley is back in as captain. He handed over club captaincy at the start of the season. He's back with the armband tonight. Dan Swain joins him in the engine room. Tom Boot and Harry Stone either side of James McRae, who was quoted by a RAM as being the best player in the league. Well, it's going to be a night for him tonight. Jake Murray, the young Harlequin, formerly of Exeter University. He's inexperienced in this team, but he's got Fraser Honey outside him, who's got bags of experience. Then in the centre, Rowan Grundy and Solidrao Radania-Rova. Serious pair in the centres. And then Alex Canning-Smith and Zach Clow. Magic dancing feet on the wings, and a first start for Andrew Lamb, the ex-Brunel man. They've gone for 4-1 on the bench with Marius, Lomas, Atkins and Duda. Kyle McGee also covers scrum half. This will be his RAMS debut. Well, those poor young mascots out there. They are dressed for the occasion in coats and hats, but I think those flags will be getting soaked through. Right, that's the RAMS. Let's have a look at Richmond. Both teams taking as long as they can in those nice warm sheds before coming out into this winter rain. Theo Bavacqua, 9 Wales under-20 caps, formerly of Cardiff University in Bucks Super Rugby. He's on the loose head side. Him against Baker will be fascinating. Torpy, Litchfield, Monson and Nugent, all part of the last Richmond team that played in the championship. Ethan Benson, he was a youngster at Saracens and got 1 Premiership appearance before signing for Richmond. Then Toby Cecil, vastly experienced in the colours of Richmond, and Sam Pym, as Burnsy said earlier, a no-nonsense number 8. Luke Jones, the captain tonight, back in Richmond colours after a little dalliance down the road with Rosalind Park. Lewis Dennett, he also appeared for Park before coming back to the Rag. They're a great partnership at 9 and 10. And then in the midfield, Sam Dardis, the Irishman, and James Langston, former England students player, England Sevens, and a winner of Bucks Super Rugby with Loughborough Students. Chidi Abona, former Newcastle Falcon, serious gas on the left wing. Alex O'Meara on the right, and Callum Grieve, the former Durham Palatinate at fullback. Goffey, Spring off a front row cover. Lucas Schmidt, the England under-18, is on the bench, as is Miles Wakeling and Alex Schwartz. Richmond, just like Rams, opting for a 4-1 split on their 5-man bench today. The teams are out. Those famous hoops. 10 wins and 1 draw in their opening 11 games. He didn't say it out loud pre-match, did he, Rob Powell? But maybe they are a touch ahead of where they thought they'd be. But if they win tonight, they are in a magnificent position to really launch themselves into a title-winning campaign. As for Rams, they've just had that 1 slip. 10 wins, 1 defeat, the best defence in the league, just 187 points conceded in the opening 11 games. They're hoping for a record-breaking night tonight, 2,000 through the gate, under the lights. And I tell you what, if they do get a victory, then they go into this mini block, perhaps as favourites. They've come so close over the last 2 seasons. A period of time that have seen Richmond relegated and hoping to go back up. And we can just see the referee there, Jamie Parr. Brilliant referee at this level. And he's going to have a great night tonight. Richmond in the gold, red and black. Rams in the blue. Wherever you're watching around the world, you've made a great choice. Welcome to Old Bath Road. It is rugby at its very best, and it is underway. Richmond kicking off. Rams attacking left to right in the first half. A first touch for James McRae. I think he's going to have a busy night tonight. A lot of direct carrying forwards on both teams, and perhaps we were a little bit too optimistic with the weather, because the wind's picked up a little bit, the rain's picked up a little bit, and that is an early error on the box kick, straight out. Rams. So we're going to have our first look at the set piece and our first chat to Paddy Conlon, who's made the sharp shift from the middle of the pitch to the commentary position, and we're undercover as well. That's not bad, is it?
That's good. It's the sharpest shift I've made on the pitch for a while, so I'm glad to be here. Yes, very nice to be undercover. Game's off. We're in for a cracker, I think. Big crowd.
I think you're right. Here's Callum Torpy at hooker today, and he picks out Jake Monson. And Richmond send it to the heavies to go to work. There's Torpy in at the back. Luke Jones, couple of strapped up fingers on the right hand, patiently waiting. And goes up the short side. Jones with a little snipe. Some good hands here for O'Meara. But then they run out of space and into touch.
Fellas, if you get on your mark, I can then help you get numbers, okay?
Lovely tackle from Axel Canning-Smith on the wing there, getting the player into touch. Just giving Rams the opportunity to try and clear the line from this line-up.
Well, you talked about him in glowing terms before the match. He's on the wing today, but he's been a bit of a Swiss Army knife in the back line for Rams, hasn't he?
He is. He's that classic versatile player who, you know, anything outside of 10 he'll play, and to a very good standard.
Tackle release!
He's come flying in there to make that tackle on Harry Stone.
Nice and easy. Up we jump, up we jump. Thank you.
And an opportunity
7, back you go, back you go.
For Rams to clear the lines here, and they are inside the 22 this time, so it can go straight to touch. It's Jake Murray who put it out on the full. But even though he's a young player, we talked about his inexperience at RAMS. He's played a lot of Bucks Super Rugby and National 2 for Exeter University. Recently been playing in the Premiership Cup for Harlequins, and he's featured for them for the last 2 or 3 seasons. So despite his youthfulness, he's played a fair bit of rugby at a good level.
He has, and he's obviously got quite a good pedigree. You know, he's come in, and as we spoke earlier, he's come in and he's got that kind of, you know, he's got his head down and worked, and he's got selected and he's been given the shirt for today. So it's quite an opportunity for him to perform and make that number 9 shirt his own.
As you can see from the assistant referee's flag there, Richmond definitely with a wind advantage in this first half. Challenge from McRae, but it's Monson that takes it up the short side again. Space here for Torpy, the offload good as well. Richmond in the 22, quick ball, George Nugent. Big opportunity early on. His second row partner, Monson, goes. Short ball, Dardis. Langston clears out. This clinical defence from Rams so far, but Richmond as close as they've been. 3 minutes gone. Little snipe from Jones. He's swallowed up.
No 7.
So no scrum half. Still with Richmond.
Behind.
Still they build. They go through the heavies again over the top of Harry Stone and the first try of the night. Richmond banging on the door and rewarded with 5 points.
Well, that's 7 or 8 very narrow phrases from Richmond off that line out, so I think that may well be a...
Yeah, thank you. Have a word if you can.
Yeah, lots of narrow phases resulting in that try, so that may be something Richmond will be sticking to.
9. The second line out was much better for your team. Just make sure that they're coming in, stopping, and then going up. The first one was really tight, second one was perfect.
Carl Grieve on goal kicking duty tonight. Had about as simple a 2 points as he'll get all season. Let's have another look at this finish. Sam Pym. Bit of work to do, didn't he? Went over Harry Stone, who's an excellent defender in his own right, but a tough man to stop from there. Richmond 7, Rams 0.
And they deserve their 7 points. Good opening from Richmond. Let's hope Rams can hit back.
Well, they're yet to have a touch in anger, really, Rams. Oh, what a tackle. That is Dan Swain flying in low.
Not the first time, last time who'll do that today.
Stop.
Deep clearance with the wind from Jones. And a mark called. There's Luke Jones back there. Diving catch in the slips there. Serious athleticism from the boy.
I couldn't work out what would happen there. Fair play to him to spot that and take it as well.
He's kept that in play. And this one is going up into the wind. A kick to compete. Good chase as well. Oh, and it's been knocked on. And then, oh, the referee, Jamie Park, saying that the player was behind. That's a decision he had to be confident on because it was close.
It was a lovely kick from Fraser, as you say, kick to compete just long enough to get so the chasers could get there in time. Put some pressure on Richmond, resulting in a knock on. And this could be interesting for scrum time.
So the front rows, Paddy Harris, Morgan McRae, James Baker for Rams, Theo Bavakwa, Callum Torpy, Jimmy Litchfield for Richmond. And Bavakwa's first season at Richmond.
Move their feet. Stay left of the mark, please, both of you. Thank you. Here we go, come on.
Formerly with Cardiff Rugby, Cardiff University, 9 Wales under-20s caps, but it's up against James Baker tonight. 400 and so games for this club.
Yeah, he's he's recognised as particularly at this level, one of the outstanding tight heads. Has been for a number of years. So I think it's
gets a few tries for a number 3 as well, doesn't he?
He does. He gets himself in the right place at the right time, shall we say. Mind you, I have seen him put one in from nearly halfway line, so he's not averse to that either.
I think the last time I was here for the Friday Night Lights,
he didn't quite make it all the way.
No, he raised a few eyebrows.
That's right, yeah.
That was a great night against Chinner.
But yeah, James scrummaging is his mainstay, and he'll be looking forward to getting this underway and trying to get some dominance.
Well, that's the side we can see.
Set.
Baker on the right for Rams, Bavakwa on the left for Richmond, and it is Baker who twists Bavakwa up and wins that penalty.
Yeah, James Baker strikes again. It looks like Richmond went with a very low bind there, and James, just as he does, gets his body in the position and drives straight through. And unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do against that. Gives Fraser the chance to get the ball in the corner, and the Rams line out to attack the line.
Good response this from Rams. They win the kicking battle, they win the scrum penalty. That's a good kick as well.
Yeah, this is exactly what the Ramilly will want now. The fans will want them to get this ball down and drive it over.
That's a great camera angle there. We can see Baker driving straight and just making Bavakwa's shoulder turn. Good line-up ball. Dan Swain gathers, and here come Rams. There's Morgan McRae on his first start in blue.
He's legal.
But Richmond have killed that. This will be Richmond ball. The referee very vocal, saying he's legal despite Jake Murray's protestations.
It's a great bit of defence from Richmond, getting through the middle, getting the hands on the man with the ball and just wrapping it up. Time for James Baker to do his job again.
Well, with the moustache and the dark hair there, that is Theo Bavakwa. Slowly making his way to that scrum. Not had a lot of time to reset after last time.
Crouch.
10 minutes on our clock.
Bind.
The pin try and the Grieve conversion separate the teams.
Set.
Great to see the youngsters with a ringside seat in behind as well. Better scrum this time from Bavakwa. And a decent direct carry from Dardis. They did half a touch on that. Oh, fumbled into touch by Calling Smith. He was thinking about the counter before he caught the ball.
He was. Do you know, although there's no score from that attack, I think it's quite positive for Rams to get down there straight after losing a try and get some real positivity in that corner. So the line-out's working well, the scrum's working well.
Those are the fundamentals. Both line-outs ticking over pretty well. George Nugent
Number
rising
8,
the
off
highest.
neck, please. Thank you. And use it.
And up it goes from Jones. Better take under the high ball. Axel Calling-Smith recovers well from dropping the last one. Now a little snipe from Murray. He sees some meters. Torpy cleared out.
Use 9.
Here's Rams in between the 10 metre and the halfway. And this time, Murray will send it skyward. Again, that kick to compete, but a really good take. Luke Jones under the high. Spending a lot of time in that backfield. Looks pretty comfortable there.
No 7.
Yeah, that was a great take, which just kind of set up Richmond with the opportunity to either kick it or have a go. And looks like they might be having a go.
Well, they like to work that short side, don't they, Richmond? They've got some big ball carriers down there. Nugent's one of them. Excellent strength from the veteran lock. Another good carry. No nonsense from Pym. Good speed on the ball as well. This time, little nudge over the top. Murray.
Move backwards, please. 7, retreat.
Oh, it's another one. Out on the full from Murray. There was space in the backfield. Sweeper was tracking back. It was the right decision.
Yeah, it was all right to just not quite execute, but it's a difficult one when that ball comes over the top. You're never sure what you can do. Never sure if you're in the 22 or not, and unfortunately that's given Richmond a nice platform. What, about 25 metres out?
Let's go, please. Okay, let's go.
I wonder, was there a chance to run that ball then? Richmond were very narrow. But here we go again. This line out in a very similar position to the one that led to their opening try. Well delivered from Torpy once more.
Looks like a very well constructed move from Richmond there. They can get the ball at the back of that.
Well, Nick Rouse in charge of the forwards, and they do look organised. O'Meara off his wing, but great tackle on him. Zach Grundy driving him back. Torpy gets low, trying to create that quick ball. Benson, the next to go, had Langston outside him. Penalty advantage, Nugent. Oh, he had Dardis on the shoulder then. Back to the right they go. It's a good fend on Murray, who does well, really well actually, Jake Murray.
Back for the advantage by the looks of it.
Number 2 not rolling.
Yeah, Morgan McRae not rolling out the way of the breakdown there.
A great opportunity for 3 points, and that is exactly what Richmond are going to try and come away with. It's another look at that, so watch for Morgan McRae. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because he's making the effort, but referees don't like it when you move backwards to get out.
You can't. If you're that side, you're dicing with death unless you get yourself out of there pretty quickly. And the referees, to be fair to him, was right there. So I don't think that's really a decision the Rams would have too much to complain about.
Callum Grieve, another one in his first season with Richmond. Good rugby pedigree, Kirkham Grammar School. Played in the Fosrock Super Sixes with Southern Knights. He's involved with Wigan Warriors Rugby League as a youngster too. Here he is. Scuffing penalty kicks. That is not making the highlights reel. It remains Rams 0, Richmond 7. Let off there for Rams.
Yeah, you're right. I think Rams are lucky to get away with that, and I think the Rams have defended a lot of phases and put in a lot of tackles, but you know, Richmond are just going through the phases with some patience, waiting for it to open up, which it has down the blind side a few times for them. So see if we can get something from this.
Honey gets us back underway. He's had a haircut, hasn't he? He knows the cameras are here tonight. Serious rugby mullet on the boy. Oh, what a take! I think that's been knocked on, though.
Strong advantage.
Oh, it has, and it's back with Rams. Oh, did all the hard work on the kick chase.
That was a great piece. So that's, again, another let-off for the Rams. Right, we'll give it a go.
Well, that breeze still blowing. The rain has stopped. Of course, difficult to know how many points the breeze is worth until both teams have played into it, but Richmond will certainly want to be ahead when the half-time whistle goes.
Scrum advantage over.
Murray.
Robbie, move back! Move back!
A couple of shaky kicks. That was certainly a more assured one. Oh, Radianarova tastes the shoulder. Decent speed on this ball then. Dennett. One for Chidiabona to carry. First we've seen of him. And a penalty advantage. A little pump pass from Luke Jones. Still with the advantage of Rams dishing it in the middle. Serious effort this. Dan Swain on George Nugent.
No 6! Yeah, he's still got it.
Abona. He goes looking for work. He's not really made the edge that side so far, so he's trying to get busy.
Again, Richmond going through a lot of phases,
And they've got the ball. Oh, what a shot. What a shot. Is that Harry Stone again?
Harry Stone, yeah.
Oh, good hands. Oh, good offload. Unlucky. Desperately unlucky by Grieve. Did not have a lot of space there.
Again, some patient defence from Rams, you know, making the tackles, but Richmond just seem to keep coming. They keep coming strong. They're big boys.
We were talking about Dan Swain and some of his defensive ability there. 6 dominant tackles in the first 10 minutes the other week. He is a midfield general, isn't he? A minister of defence.
I think, you know, when it comes to selection, if you know it's going to be a tight game, Dan Swain is the man you want in that game. You want him out there to make the tackles. But you can see him now, you know, high-fiving the players, and somebody who makes those kind of tackles just G's everyone up, and you see those tackles going in, and slowly that momentum can switch, and hopefully that can happen. He is a hard man, there's no doubt.
I think to play in the engine room in Nat 1, that's a prerequisite, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
So Carl Grieve going for the corner this time.
It's an interesting choice. Those 3 points could have gone big in there.
Edge of the line, fellas, okay?
So this is what the penalty was awarded for. It was a bonnet. Yeah, just Harry Stone just got his shoulder on the wrong side there, didn't he? It was a good step from a bonnet. Penalty only. More defending to do for Rams. Another opportunity for Richmond, but the first time tonight the line-out wobbles. And we'll have a set scrum, at which point James Baker probably starts to lick his lips.
Yeah, I seem to have said this for the 3rd or 4th time, but another let-off for Rams there. You can't blame the rain for that one either. I'm not sure what went wrong with that line-up, but Rams will take it. And yeah, as you say, James will be looking, if he can, to turn this scrum into a penalty, and then we can keep possession up towards halfway line.
We've spent a lot of our time looking left at the moment, haven't we? Richmond certainly winning the territorial battle, but just the Sam Pym try and the Carl Grieve conversion to show for it. 18.5 minutes into this first period.
Find.
Now we'll get a great view of this. Baker against Bavakwa.
Set.
He's in trouble already. You can see his arm, just left elbow going down straight away. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the left elbow's gone down. He's lost his bind immediately. That is immense pressure coming on from Baker.
That's the 3 scrums in a row. He's done the same thing. Really low bind. He's letting James get over the top with his right hand. And that's what James does, I suppose, James Baker. And another penalty.
Well, hinge is what it was given for. I think it could have been given for 2 or 3 things.
Yeah, you're right. Obviously, all refs know what goes on in the front row.
Edge of the line, fellas, okay?
Well, the sponsor on the backside is getting good coverage from the loose head of Richmond at the moment.
Yeah, and it just, again, as an ex-front row, there's nothing worse than going to a scrum knowing you're under pressure. But here we go.
Nice line-out ball. Up it goes. Oh, it's missed everyone.
I think it was touched by a Richmond hand there, yeah, so it's a Rams line-out. Yeah.
Well, if it's been touched by a Richmond hand, then you've got the choice between a line-out and a scrum, and surely you opt for the scrum.
Well, I think he touched it and it went backwards.
Okay.
So I don't, yeah, it went.
Touched by one of your players.
Yeah, touched by one by Richmond and it went back into touch. So again, a nice platform just on the halfway line. I wonder if Rams will attack off the back of this, or
something worth noting here. Brilliant floodlights in this great facility at Old Bath Road, but they're quite low. So if the kicks go up high, you do lose the ball up above the floodlights. So it is difficult for those players in the backfield to try and gather those.
Once sideways.
20 minutes gone. Keeping my eye on Burnsy here, because I think he's going to go interview searching at some point as the rain has just got heavier.
That's a very big kick. Richmond want to hope that it doesn't run. Oh, did he knock that on?
Oh, did he knock that on?
I think he did.
Oh, I think Rams have got away with them there. We've talked about luck being on their side a few times in the 22 where Richmond have fluffed the lines. Let's take a look at this now. Andrew Lamb. Oh, it hasn't touched the ground. How on earth? Firstly, how on earth has he not knocked it on? Secondly, how on earth has the referee seen that great decision by Jamie Parr?
Absolutely no doubt. You speak to him, he'll have done that on purpose, no doubt.
Well, that looked a little high from Swain.
Seems to be an action replay. Richmond are attacking that corner a lot, particularly on the narrow.
Certainly direct, isn't it? They're looking to use their big men, and Theo Bavakwa, it's loose, but backwards. So Richmond lose some metres that are just on their own 10-metre. And Rams stacking that short side now after Richmond attacked it so effectively in the first 20 minutes. Overcooked and a mark.
Lovely mark from Andrew Lamb there. Yeah, they've attacked blind a number of times, and I think, well, Danny Batty, the defence coach for Rams, he'll have spotted that, and he'll have told the boys, let's make sure that blind side is covered, particularly in that part of the park, which they've attacked quite a few times.
Richmond ball on the edge along the line there first.
Kind of just waiting for this game to come alive. I think something's going to happen to spark this game into life.
Needs another score, doesn't it?
I think it does, yeah. Down the other end of the pitch, ideally.
I'll remain neutral. You don't have to. Oh, another excellent tackle. This time, Tom Voot. And Richmond really pouring forward with these huge ball carriers, but at the moment, Rams equal to it. Paddy Harris hanging by the bootstraps. Dardis, the next to go. Good clear out by Langston on a man much bigger, Torpy. Radianarova looking for the rip. Oh, a little bit of afters there too. Oh, lovely hands. Big men linking up in the midfield. Oh, just losing his footing there before the turnover was enacted. Carl Grieve, plug in the corner. And Andrew Lamb watching it go dead.
It's a lovely kick from Richmond into that corner, but I think it kind of it speaks well of the Rams' defence. So that was a lot of phases to kind of pressure them to the point where they had to get rid of it. So good pressure from the Rams in defence, but put them on their own 5-metre line. So
it's a long way out of that corner, isn't it?
It definitely is, yeah. So that rain's starting to come in again.
Talks about Richmond being very direct and Rams making these one-on-one tackles. It really is a physical battle. You wonder if a couple of little tips for Richmond might ask a few more questions of the defence. The best defence in the league, I hasten to add.
Yes, absolutely, and they'll be very keen to keep that. But yeah, Rams again, looks at some open space, something to get it going, somebody to break a line. Just only so much Rams can soak up in the first half.
Just that one wobble from the Callum Torpy line out. But conditions worsening, and that's going to become more and more difficult. Well, rugby being played over on that far side as well, in front of the majority of the spectators. Ethan Benson to the back this time. Rams have collapsed. It's another penalty. Jones has a go himself. Good clear out there as he was about to lose that ball. Up the short side again go Richmond. Still playing with a penalty advantage. There's some afters going on. They've just
good turnover, back we come.
Parted themselves. That was Callum Torpy and someone else getting to know each other intimately. No surprise there's a bit of needle, is there?
Well, chances are probably the other hooker as well, you would imagine.
Make sure your 6 doesn't bind if you want to do that.
But the ref seems to have real good control of this. It's a physical contest, but he seems to be controlling it very well.
Use the line, fellas. Use the line.
Just under 15 minutes to go until the half. So this was the line-out ball. Now, that's where it was collapsed by Rob Stapley. Well, we're not going to go any further, so we're not going to see the afters.
Getting a strange sense of deja vu here. Richmond on 5.
Another familiar picture. First job, find the line-out man, it's been stolen. Rams hanging in there, coming up with big plays at big times. And turning over that ball there, absolutely huge.
Use, please.
As you said, it's a long way out from there.
Okay, off we come, fellas. 4, you're off your feet. Move. Don't pull players off their feet.
They're only about a metre from their own try line here. The painted line you can see in the back of your shot is the dead ball line. Murray into the wind. And it's a Richmond reload.
Here we go again.
Well, there's no way out at the moment, is there?
There's not, and as I said, this is the point where you need something to happen. Seems to be Rams kind of holding on from Richmond's mistakes at the moment, so knocked on at the last line out. Let's see how they can do this one.
The game in the balance, another challenge at the front, but George Nugent gets his hands on it. Referee happy with the contest.
Don't take.
Where is that ball?
That's once.
Still moving. Oh, there it goes.
Well, Jones' suggestion of a forward pass. Ref says no. Richmond without a scrum half. George Nugent dealt with again. Some fabulous tackling from Rams, and they've won the penalty.
Paddy Harris with a great first up tackle. Looks like that man Tom Boone was on that ball like a flash. So there we have it. That's what they needed. That's what they needed to clear the lines and hopefully reload somewhere near the halfway line.
Well, they were over the ball. Have a look at Toby Say-So there, the Richmond number 7. He's the one penalised for the neck roll. Oh, but they missed touch with the penalty. Rams just invited more pressure. Jones is there. Benson goes, looks for the offload. Not seen many of those today. Not really been an evening for it. Well, long barrier to take that one. We've got Chidi Abona.
Tackle, off you come.
Desperate to get involved with the game. He switched wings and now the ball goes in his direction.
Well, there's those tips out of the tackle you were talking about. They seem to be making some yards. There we go. Ooh.
Richmond knock off. But it's just a way to try and change the point of attack, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they do it very. They've been doing it very well, attacking quite narrow. And as you say, that 1 or 2, those extra passes just puts the defence on the back foot and gets you that extra 1 or 2 metres.
Another scrum, part of the game that has very much belonged to Rams in this opening 29 minutes or so. Well, as they pack down, do you know what? I think I've stunned him into action. Burnsy, who have you got down there with you?
D-Rog, I'm working hard out here now that the rain's gone. Hi, leading 7-0, good 30 minutes for Richmond or good 30 minutes for Rams?
I think we've been slightly on top, but obviously we've got to convert a little bit. I think we've had some good opportunities, and it's going to be a tight game. And there's a couple of things out there that we need to do slightly better. I think we're on top. I think that we're slightly edging it, winning a bit of the contact, and that's why territory-wise it's all been down there. And I think if we carry on playing like that and keep it territory good, then we'll come away and keep on going.
At a stage like this, with all that territory, with all that possession, is there any element of, God, we have to come away with some points, otherwise psychologically it's a win for them?
Not really. I think they're just hanging on at the moment, so we've just got to keep on doing what we're doing.
And how do you get through these tackles that are coming from them?
Sorry, say that again.
How do you get through the tackles that just keep on coming from them?
We'll just keep on running really hard to go through them.
Nice and simple. Back to you, D-Rog.
Nice and simple. It certainly was. But it is well pointed out by Burnsy, and I think anybody who's watched that game will have seen the level of defence. But here come Richmond, turned over, now into the 22. Is this going to be the moment that breaks the game open? We need a score. It's Richmond in the position to do so. Oh, the dummy throw when it was on out to the left. Oh, it's been knocked on. That is a gilt-edged opportunity from Richmond. There was space out wide, there were men out wide. It stayed narrow and it remains Rams 0, Richmond 7.
suppose a lovely break from Richmond 9 off the back of that scrum, and down the middle to the number 8. And yes, it's just another let off for Rams, and to repeating myself every 5 minutes or so. We're back.
Oh, that was the one
from the line.
That was the one. The dummy was thrown. There were men outside. Chidi Abona, he'd have probably finished it himself. That was the chance, wasn't it?
That was the chance, and this is James Baker's chance to get turn this scrum into a penalty and clear those lines.
Crouch! Because for all the territory and all the opportunity Richmond have had, they've not really been able to stress the Rams defence. That was the first time that the Rams defence was stretched.
Penalty at scrum time. It was the first time that they've attacked an unorganised defence. Once they can get the defence, well, any game of rugby, if you can attack an unorganised defence, you're probably going to make some yards. So Rams will be disappointed with that. But happy we can clear the lines again.
Well, James Baker is doing the Lord's work.
He's worth his weight in gold, that man, he does, yes. But as you can see, the knees are strapped up. I wonder, you know, the legs are still going. But he's, you know, what's he? He's mid-30s. He's still playing some of the best rugby of his career.
Younger than me, that's what he is. On this time, it's Richmond who pinch it, but it's just gone forward off the fingertips.
Well, James Baker must have learned from a good tight head who played there before him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently so.
Oh, yeah. Generational tight heads, is it?
I'd like to say that, but clearly he was better than me when he was about 21.
Nearly scooped away, wasn't it? Up went George Nugent.
But it just, that scrummaging on the back foot saps your energy as a forward, particularly as a tight 5. So, you know, James and Pat, they'll be putting the pressure on now, and just you're sapping the energy, and you can see that will translate to the loose game as well. Eventually, the sort of falling off tackles.
Crouch. Bind.
Free kick this time. And frustratingly for Rams, you can't reset the scrum off a free kick in this day and age. So they're still in their own half.
Work out what that free kick was for.
Early engage.
Is that what it was? Right, okay. Well, I suppose they take that over penalty, I suppose. Another nice kick to compete.
That's been the tactic, hasn't it? Oh, it's been dropped again. Referee says backwards, but Rams slowly making their way up the pitch. Abona. Good carry from him. Doesn't want to get isolated, though. Coming up to the final 5 minutes. Oh, good shot. Radianarova. Just a reminder that Alcock's pretty accurate, but it's not linked in with the referee's watch, so we might be a couple of seconds out either side. So if it's a tight game with a few seconds to go, don't get too excited. Here's Cal Grieve, searching for that 50-22, but just drills it down the throat of Canning Smith.
Open space for Canning Smith, dangerous, and been gobbled up nicely.
He runs into 2 men. And Richmond not rolling away. So interesting, isn't it? Rams give away a lot of penalties consecutively. All of a sudden, the scrum penalty leads to another error, leads to another penalty.
And that's how, you know, very quickly in the space of 2 or 3 minutes, your momentum swings. And, you know, line out on the 22.
Let's take another look at this then. It was Cal Grieve who made the tackle, and then Richmond was sniffing around the turnover, but Cal Grieve hadn't got out of the way. And Jamie Parr in a great place to award the penalty to the home team. 35 metres from the try line. This kind of territory has been few and far between. So Murray finds Honey. Here's Grundy. Out of the back to Canning Smith, who steps inside. Good carry from him. Takes Luke Jones for a walk. Honey again. Grundy. We've not really seen any kind of attacking shape from Rams at all.
Claims of a high tackle there.
Yeah, James Langston's gone high, so Rams have the chance to get something from this attack. Richmond's turn to defend. Honey. Kicks that one into space, we'll have the penalty. And what's the decision here, do you think? Are you going for posts or the corner?
I imagine if Robbie is captain, I'll go for the corner.
Never onside here. Okay. Number please, Andy. Never onside, fellas.
I think Fraser was aware that the advantage was in play there, so he knew the penalty was coming. And to the corner.
Well, big decision this, because it's a kickable penalty, but tough in the wind. The breeze has just died down slightly, as has the rain.
It's a big decision, but it's a decision Robbie Sappin would make any day of the week. He'd want to take them on, get down there, maximum points out of it, hopefully.
First job, McRae. Find the jumper, to the front they go. Oh, it was well read by Theo Bavakwa.
Tackle release,
gone back to McRae. He's striding it in instead. The Welshman makes an important tackle, but it's Ram's turn to set up camp in the Richmond 22. Murray has a look. He's got a penalty advantage there. The referee stuck an arm out. So back the other way they go. Stapley tips it on the dummy throw, and another huge tackle. Callum Torpy getting the shoulder stuck in.
Dip. Late and low. Clear flat back. Don't dip before contact, please.
Dip before contact. That's it. I've not seen many penalties given for that. He got his shoulders below his hips before contact, which doesn't allow the defender to make a proper tackle.
Of course. Watch off.
Well, Harry Stone, the man penalised for it.
Just late and low by number 6. There was a possible one earlier on, but I thought he slipped on his feet. That one's a clear dip before contact. He needs to show me some chest.
Plenty of chest for him to show, to be honest.
There are too many jokes to be made about that one.
That's Harry Stone, joined Rams from Coventry. Exciting youngster, got a bit of championship experience, including a big win over Bedford Blues.
We're always keeping an eye.
Yeah, very versatile player. You know, he does everything you want a back row to do.
Okay, water off,
as
please,
we
fellas.
see, he makes his tackles, he carries the ball, but he's also a very good line-out option as well.
So we can add that to the list of Richmond let-offs. There have been plenty of Rams let-offs.
That would be the better decision, I think. But we'll keep looking. Let's go. Let's go. 6 blue, late and low. Where you are. 60 seconds.
So the referee, I think that was 60 seconds until half-time. So we're a little bit out. Plenty of chat to be had at half-time. So let's take a look at how late and how low, Just dipped into that difficult one.
You can see his right shoulder dipped into the defender's shoulder.
So as the referee saying, you can run in low, you just need to get there earlier.
You can't you can't dip your shoulder just before you take contact, because it makes it difficult for the defender to make that low shot.
Five, don't change.
So Richmond now just trying to see this one out until half-time. We've got plenty of analysis coming as well as Jones goes up the short side of Bonner. Oh, gets the offload back from Jones, who tosses it infield. Again, the cover defence coming, but Richmond all of a sudden playing summer rugby. Speculative offloading, sticking. Lovely handling. Now Langston.
Not yet, no.
Does well, Langston, but Radianarova just slows that ball down. A little bit of life in Richmond just before the half.
It is now.
Fair to say that game has come alive the last few minutes.
Jones deciding that half-time is half-time. Rams leading Richmond, Rams trailing to Richmond by 7 points to 0. Not sure how long the half-time highlights reel is going to be. However, I think we're going to get some half-time reaction. Burnsy is getting stuck into it. I'm not sure he's quite quick enough to catch up with the players as they leave the field of play.
Hold on, looks like they've got Ashley Rowden near him. So
oh goodness me!
If you want someone to talk, he's your man.
Well, he does know that half-time's only 15 minutes, doesn't he?
Just open the tap and Ash Rowden will go.
He joined us for co-coms last time. Right, it's Rams 0, Richmond 7 at half-time. Burnsy, what do you think?
7 down, but a hell of a lot of pressure. Are you delighted with how you've handled that, or do you feel your backs are against the wall for the rest of the game?
No, I think there's a bit of wind down into that corner. It's been cagey, isn't it, to start? You know, Richmond have clearly had all the pressure, so they're probably a bit disappointed they've not scored 1 or 2 more. I think we've defended really well. We just not haven't been able to fire our shots yet, but you know, hopefully that will come. It's a, you know, it's a very intense encounter, and that's really exciting.
40 minutes of lung-busting defence. If they keep coming at you in the same vein relentlessly, do you think you boys have got what it takes to repel that?
Yeah, hopefully so. Look, we're going to have to turn the tables a little bit on that and make sure we can fire some shots and get down into this corner second half, but we'll have to see what it brings.
And you mentioned the wind and the rain. How significant is that in the game for you this half?
Well, you know, for supporters watching, you don't really want the rain and the wind, so hopefully this stays away, they have a good second half, and maybe we do as well.
Right, I'll let you get in there. Thank you for the time, Seb. Right, finally poised. Plenty of action, plenty of pressure from a Richmond perspective, but only 7 points to take into the half-time huddles. A big 15 minutes ahead of the biggest 40 minutes of the season as far as National 1 is concerned. D-Rod, you've got the highlights. I'm going to go and grab some interesting people, and I'll meet you guys back on the pitch in a moment.
Like the sound of that, Burnsy. Yeah, for 2 teams that are averaging over 30 points a game, when that first try went in, Paddy, we might have thought we were in for a bit of a points fest, but that hasn't been the case.
No, I think everyone wanted that points fest, but I don't think either team will be happy going into the changing rooms. I think Richmond will be disappointed that they're only 7-0 ahead. Rams will be disappointed they're obviously 7-0 down, but I think Rams will probably be happier going into half-time.
Well, these are the highlights, or should I say highlight, because there hasn't been a huge amount. This was the first and only try. It was a sustained period of pressure inside the 22 for Richmond, a couple of good line-outs, and then the pick and go from Sam Pym. He was one of the players that was highlighted as a direct and strong ball carrier, and it was a decent finish there over the top of Harry Stone.
He was straight over the top, Superman, that one. Got the job done though, and that's all that matters. Yeah, Harry went very low. There's not much more he could have done there.
No. Sometimes the laws of physics take over, don't they?
That's exactly right, yeah.
So yes, Pym scored the try. Grieve converted that try. He then had another opportunity for a very, very kickable penalty, and he's a steady boot, but he missed that when there was another opportunity to go for poles. They went for the corner instead. Rams had that penalty where they could have gone for the poles, but they went for the corner. This was the real gilt-edged opportunity, because as we said before, Richmond hadn't really stressed the Rams' defence. They had them on the rack here. This is an opportunity gone begging.
Yeah, it was, and as you said, it was the pump fake, wasn't it? You know, the second row. The last thing you want is the second row going in there. A bit, well, that was a nice break from the back of the scrum, wasn't it? The turnover at the scrum.
Luke Jones, excellent player, not just at this level, but any level. The thing is, he's held onto the ball there. The original catch, it was a great take, but a little pull out to the back there, and Chidi Abona, and we'd have been looking at 12-0. And I think the body language of Luke Jones and Theo Bavakwa and Lewis Dennett says it all. Well, the fans are out. Thankfully, they brought their waterproof jackets. They're not letting the rain dampen the spirits. Yeah, all right. It's Rams 0, Richmond 7. Joe Burns has got a motley crew with him. Let's see what they've got to say.
Bit of a hospital pass there. I've said that we got lots of highlights, but only one try.
Yes.
Only one try to show, and the most miraculous non-knock-on in the dead ball area ever. Excellent calling from both Paddy and D-Rog in a game that is 7-0, but it has us on the edge of our seats. And it also has us bringing Chris Hill back to the halftime show, and the CEO of Rams Rugby, Gary Reynolds. And we're just remarking, we're going to get into the game in a second. We've got the next generation of Rams here playing. It's a centenary year. We got a record crowd. Is that confirmed this evening?
I think so. We can't quite. We haven't got the final figures through, but it looks quite deep around the sides, and they haven't really made a lot of noise yet, which is a bit of a shame. But I think that's probably reflective of how much territory Richmond had in the first half. But people have come out. I think the rain's probably cost a couple of hundred, but I reckon we've cracked it.
Look, we're going to get into the game momentarily. I want to talk about the events, about, you know, having well in excess of 1,000 people, and it's not the first time that you're achieving that, and you clearly put a lot of thought into it. It is a big game. It's a game that's probably got the rest of National 1 tuning in, which is pretty cool. Hello to all the teams and all the players out there. But it feels like you're building something here.
Yeah, I mean, it's I've got to say, it's easier to build in a league like National One when you've got so many great sides around. You travel around the country playing some good rugby, and even when you get turned over at Rotherham, they're really nice people, and they got stuck in that day, and I think you get that. You know, anyone can beat anyone on the day, which is fantastic. As for building here, you've just got a very, very committed board of directors. They look to the future. You can see behind me the kids all playing, the youth section's 550, the academies go well, coaching Reading University, set up a federation side for sixth forms from the state schools, and everything's been humming, and I think it all builds. You know, the club builds on a very, very solid foundation. Our old president always just say, great teams are built, not bought, and that's sort of our mantra.
Amen to that. We're getting very close to the action there. I like that, you know, Rotherham, they'll take your match points, but they'll do it with a smile. Good lads, he's up there, up in the north. Chris, this is something we were touching on earlier in the pre-show. National One is humming, to use your word, as a league. You know, it's an opportunity to get down with your mates, get down with your family, and see some proper rugby, like proper rugby.
Yeah, and I think maybe tonight's game probably sums it up, Joe, to be honest. You know, it is a really proper contest. We were chatting off air, me and Gary there. It's so nicely poised so far. And I think, yes, we haven't seen the tries. We would have, you know, possibly liked more highlights, but it's a real proper contest tonight. And Gary will echo my thoughts. I'm sure it happens every week in National One. And I know that Rams game against Rotherham was a real contest a couple of weeks ago, but it's same week in, week out. And it's really set for, hopefully, a cracking second half here.
I don't know, I did find that at half-time when Sedgley Park were beating Richmond 3-0 the other week, I found that a difficult game to love, I will be honest. But let's talk about the game that we have here. Let's talk about your rear guard. Let's talk about that body on the line commitment and the sheer weight of tackles that Rams are putting in.
Well, we knew we were going to have to chop tackle and front up tonight, because Richmond have a very, very mobile back five in their pack. You can see they're big, athletic guys. If you let them get away, they're going to cause a lot of damage. So the boys, I thought, have been fantastic on the chop tackling. I think with the wind and the elements, our mistakes early game, that went in Richmond's favour. I don't think I'd have kicked the ball off at the end of that first half if I'd have been Richmond. I think I'd have played that on and taken the wind on my back and see if I can get up another penalty. But they may rue that, but we'll see.
Do you think that's a little psychological nod to you?
Massive, Joe, yeah. Not a little psychological nod, massive psychological nod. I think that, I mean, they were quite keen to get into half-time, so I think that augurs well for us in the second half, and I think you've seen what our boys can do. I think if we can stop Richmond playing, getting out of their own territories harder, this wind is a lot stronger up there than people realise. So it's going to be a canny game, two sides going at it. It's a bit like a game of rugby chess at the moment.
And a little bit of course knowledge thrown in there, bit of geography and meteorological report as well from the man in the know. What have you liked about Richmond? There's a lot to love there, apart from maybe the final 3% of the field.
Yeah, I mean, what you said to Rob Powell before the game, Joe, he was saying about the continuity they've got in the side. I think we saw that very early on, the amount of pressure they were putting on Rams. The frustrating thing is they've only managed to get 7 points from it. And as Gary said, I think they'll probably be in the half-time now very frustrated with that. And I think that just maybe gives Rams a potential psychological edge going into the second period, because it is only 7 points. They defended the hearts out in that first half, and now it's their turn to maybe get on the front foot. And I think we saw that edging towards the end of the first half, what Rams can do, and maybe it's time for them to spark it to life.
Well, when pressed, Rob Powell was reluctant to deviate from run hard at them, but do you think that Richmond need a plan B to break down this Rams defence?
I think what Paddy and Dave were saying in commentary was spot on. I mean, they were so direct. I mean, Ethan Benson's carried extremely well for Richmond, but maybe they just need to focus more on just that direct running, maybe use it to a couple of offloads and things like that to maybe make it a plan B, a change the dynamic of attack a little bit. We know Rams have got the best defence in the league, and it showed in that first half, so maybe a plan B is needed for Richmond if they get into those situations in the second 40.
Right, so potentially a plan B for Richmond to unlock the defence, which we have quite rightly lauded. What about attack? We haven't really seen much of that. We saw one entry into the 22 and nothing came of it. How would you like to see Rams get their hands on the ball and get it to your danger men out wide, and in the sense that, well, actually just enjoy a bit of time going forward and not putting their shoulders literally to the wheel?
Well, it's very, you know, viewers watching this, it's very wet. It's very wet underfoot at the moment, so slinging that ball around is not easy. We have an extraordinary good line out and a very, very good maul. And the second half wins on our back, and we go down to our favourite part of this pitch, which is clubhouse corner over in the bottom right-hand side. So I don't care whether the ball gets thrown to our wingers. What I would like to see is 12 line-outs, us throwing in down on the 5-metre line on clubhouse corner, and that will be scintillating stuff for a Friday night.
Scintillating if you've got a pair of horns on your chest, on your crest. So you're calling for a 7 plus 1500 basically down in the corner there. Let's talk about the other prospects in the league. Top of the table fair here, very exciting, and justifiably we're getting excited for Richmond and Rams, but there's a lot of other threats out there. Rotherham, obviously, victorious against you recently. Rosslyn Park, Blackheath, Birmingham Moseley, plenty of big clubs and a long, long way to go for the season. You've been embroiled in some real tussles at the top in most recent years. How strong do you feel the league is? How competitive and how open do you feel it is? I'm going to go to you on this, Chris, first.
I think Gary summed up when we spoke in the week for the National League show. He said, you know, at the moment it's a 4 R's right up there, isn't it? You know, and that makes for a nice narrative. But there are so many good teams, and I mean, Gary reeled off probably a top 8, top 9 when we spoke. It just goes up every single year, this league, and this year more than most. I think it is where it is at the moment with 49 points. That piece between Rams and Richmond at the top of the table. So yeah, the level's going to be great, and I think there's so many teams that could be involved, and as you say, Joe, still so much rugby to be played.
I think we rattle off sort of the teams that we think in the top half that are going to compete. You know, we've got the 4 R's up there, then you've got the likes of Moseley, Plymouth, a load of other good sides, Sale. But, you know, what we also mustn't miss is some of the sides at the bottom are beginning to find some traction. So you've got to put your best rugby on to play them, because they'll start this league's got jeopardy, which means those guys are scrapping to be back here next season. So it doesn't get any easier, and I think the battle for anyone who's going to win this league, you're going to have to dog it out right through to the end of the season. And if it makes you feel any better, Joe, you're going to have to play some decent rugby as well. You know, with the elements today don't favour throwing the ball around, but other days it will, and you will need to play. So you need to be a complete side to do this.
All right, complete sides get the wins. Here come 2. Richmond, Rams, 7 points between them. The second half coming to you now.
Thanks very much, Burnsy. Lovely coverage in that half-time and a great insight to exactly what they're trying to build here at Rams. What they're trying to build is a championship rugby club, and they're going to have to come back from a 7-point deficit here against Richmond. As the weather's calmed down a bit, the wind has died down, the rain has stopped, and this one evenly poised. Well, before the second half kicks off, big shout out to some of the pros that are watching tonight. Of course, there is another competition kicking off in Bath, but it's Old Bath Road that we're interested in. And Caden Murley watching from Paris ahead of Harlequins Champions Cup campaign getting underway against Racing 92 this weekend. He's made the good choice. He's with us, Paddy, and who can blame him?
Absolutely right. Well, I hope we're in for a scintillating 40 minutes. I'm having a look. I can't see any changes for Rams. So it looks, unless I'm mistaken, as it was.
This one on a knife edge, just one score in it. Rams kicking off with the benefit of clubhouse corner and the 1500 or so. They're going to be urging towards that try line in the second half.
Yeah, Rams playing down to their favourite clubhouse corner are there. Once the ball gets down there and the crowd get going, it's a good place to be.
Well, Richmond had a really sharp start to the first half. Can Rams replicate in the second? Well, they made a change in the front row, Richmond. Luke Spring has come on. Phenomenal mullet and moustache combo. That is a league leading. It's a real joy. You'll see him at the front of the line out here.
I hope your scrummaging backs up the haircut, that's all I'll say.
It has to, doesn't it? It's such a bold choice. So he's come on to replace Theo Bavekwa. And that's good line-out ball for Rams to start to build on.
And a nicely set maul there, so some good yards made off that.
So Murray finding Grundy, good crash from him.
Yeah,
not really seen a look at this this Rams backline at all, as that's knocked on once, then twice. And it'll be a Richmond put in at the scrum, so it will be our first look at Luke Spring. community coach at Richmond. And he's a success story for the club as well. We spent a lot of time talking about what a great job Rams are doing, but of course Richmond has a much wider club. And when he joined, he started in the 4th team, so he's played for the youth team, the 4s, the 3s, the 2s, and now he's playing Nat 1 rugby.
And that's what this level of rugby is all about, to give players that chance. You know, we've got Mikey Duda on the bench, who's been at the club for a number of years, who again worked his way up through the teams, 3rd team, 2nd team, you know, into the 1st team. So that's what grassroots rugby is all about.
Certainly is.
This could be interesting.
Well, if you reach this level, it is no joke, is it? You're
Absolutely
a serious player.
It's serious rugby. You know, you're playing the top 5% of rugby in the country. So
and there are players. Well, there are players on this pitch that have played Premiership rugby.
Same patience as the first half, please.
yeah, that's the beauty of this level. You know, you've got up-and-coming players who are potentially going on to make the way in the professional league, and then you've also got guys, you know, who are looking to consolidate their lives elsewhere. Well, play a bit of rugby at the same time.
Well, interestingly, we talked about Jake Murray tonight, the young Harlequin. Luke Jones for Richmond, he had a brief stint at Quins as well. As well as Neath and Jersey. And Dragons. I think he scored a Champions Cup try for Dragons as well. Tough kick to take over the shoulder. That swirling breeze.
So they've open field now. Let's see what Fraser's to help pump in the corner.
Everything going towards there, isn't it? But that's well read, right down the throat. A little chip over the top, didn't catch all of it. That's gone forward off Richmond, back in the hands of Rams.
That was a better kick from Fraser, so that gives us a chance to Richmond to reset, Rams to see where we are, see if we can nick something off it.
Clever kick the second time round, though, wasn't it? Because Richmond, I think they've done their research and they are plugging that left-hand side, that corner you've spoken so much about. But
2 and 7.
Yeah, Fraser saw that. Fraser saw the migration across there and put the ball kind of back across that plane.
Changes for Richmond. Will Goffey, the former Hartbury hooker, coming on, and Lucas Schmidt. This boy can carry. Another one on the books at Quins, scored on his Premiership Cup debut against London Scottish in round 1 this season.
Again, that's the beauty of this level. You've got players like that who obviously have some good pedigree.
Well, he'd have been involved with the under-26 nations last season, but injured a shoulder. Interesting night for him. He stood there at first receiver as well. I think he wants to get his hands on it early, but instead they go to the skies. O'Meara gets there first and gets a little bit basketball and bounces into the hands of Jones. 4 minutes of the second half gone. Nothing added to the scoreboard. That was O'Meara in midfield, and now Dardis over the top. Good hands here. Cal Grieve asks the question of Calling Smith. Brilliant kick, great chase as well. Langston can't quite drag Rams back over the line. And a penalty won by Rams.
Before you compete.
That was a great bit of play from Richmond, you know, heads up rugby, seen what was open and went for it. Just unfortunate there by the looks of it, the breakdown to lose the ball.
Oh, great kick from Honey. I think, who's that in the cagoule there? Because they have just been whacked in the box.
That's the assistant forwards coach, Glenn.
He needs to pay more attention. Watch this.
He does.
Oh no, sorry, this isn't the kick. This is the penalty.
Right, here we go again. Halfway line. Nice platform to attack for the Rams. Let's see. Taken very nicely, and they've gone.
They've not really seen them go through the phases in the same way that that Richmond were able to. As Tom Voot, that's a good carry. Makes some good post-contact meters, does Voot. And that coughed up to O'Meara. O'Meara dragged towards the touch, but I think we'll go back for the scrum.
Excuse me. We don't need that language.
Well, Alex O'Meara letting them know exactly what he thinks.
Forward. Thank you. Scrum, gold ball.
Well, you might not be able to hear on the comms, but it's getting a bit picky down there.
Well, there were a few moments in the first half, weren't there?
See Morgan McRae, the hooker, he brings a lot of physicality to the team, but you know, with that comes, some people might see that in the wrong way. And they did within that phase of play.
Well, he's been on quite the journey off the field, but he's done a lot on the field as well. Former Wasps junior, was with the Scarlets in Llanelli for a while, Wales Sevens. He's got an excellent pedigree.
He's a great player. His physicality, the physicality he brings to any game is just immense.
He's been rewarded with the number 2 jersey.
He has,
featured off the bench.
Max not available, gives him a chance. This could be interesting now.
Well, the last scrum ended in a free kick. It's the new battle. Baker and Spring. Oh, some turf has gone flying up off the boots there of Sam Pym at number 8. Serious pressure going through that scrum from Rams, but Richmond survived.
Yeah, there was a lot of tonnage going through that front row there, which ended up on the floor, but I don't think anyone could see anything going wrong. And Richmond come away with that, and again they're going through lots of phases, very narrow.
It's Langston
coming back.
Time.
Rams, chop.
Jones.
Advantage penalty.
It's gone forward off a Rams' hand, so the crossfield looking for O'Meara, but into the hands.
Number 5, deliberate knock-on. On the way to the line out, yeah, not a problem. I'll be louder. Watch off.
Player down there for Richmond.
Yeah, I was just about to
That Langston after that heavy carry.
Yeah, I need better positivity from your forwards in the tackle area. The height was really nice in the first half. There's a few now players that are diving off. Keep high in the contest, please. Of course, there hasn't been any of them yet.
We don't pump their tyres up enough, but the referee's doing an excellent job tonight, isn't he?
He is. You can hear them talking to the players and really talking them through the decisions that he's making. You know, the worst thing for a player is not knowing what a decision is for, and if the referee explains what's going on and the player can understand what's happened, they can react to it. And he's doing a very good job of that, particularly in the contact area.
You know, a lot of our viewers tonight, they'll be used to watching professional rugby, top-tier rugby with TMOs, where we can go through every decision to the nth degree. Well, we can't do that here. We've got a referee and 2 assistants who make their decisions and stick to them, so it's so important they communicate. And we've had a change here. Harry Stone off, Ben Atkins on.
Yeah, big moment for Ben. He broke his ankle in a pre-season warm-up against Chinna, so it's actually his first appearance this year, so he'll be hoping to make a difference.
Well, do you know, we were just talking about Caden Murley, weren't we? He actually played England under-20s with Ben Atkins. And Ryan Lomas, who's going to come on later in the front row, him and Ben played against each other in the under-20s when Ryan was playing for Ireland.
Yeah, of course. It's a small world, the rugby world.
Certainly is. At the short side, little knock on, and again that Rams defensive pressure tells. We're now on 44 minutes without a point in this game. That doesn't happen with these two teams very often.
It doesn't, and the frustration is going to start showing, I think. You know, simple things like that, ball to ground, knock on. The frustration's going to show. But it's scrum time.
It's Rams ball, but again they find themselves in and around their own 22. Lot of rugby has been played in this part of the pitch.
Bind. Set. I'd start using that.
They go to the boot on the first phase. You were wondering whether or not they might have run that and had a little look out wide as Bonner is going to get his head down here. Long run up for Chidi Bonner, gets past the first tackle, but James McRae deals with him. Good long presentation. Again, up that short side, looking to find soft defenders. They find Zach Clow instead.
He's anything but a soft defender.
Yeah, certainly is. comes the bill, but there's no way through this big blue wall.
And again, this is the patience that the Rams will relish. The Rams will relish this in defence.
Half an hour of the game to go. So Luke Jones is going to be forced to the boot again. Just shy of his own 10. He's overcooked that, and it's a
10 metres, please, gold.
Decent take in the end.
Yeah, great mark from Fraser there. Took the ball whilst he was falling over, and still had the presence of mind to call the mark.
Again, an excellent player to be able to bring to the club. Nearly 600 points in over 60 games for Redruth previously. Captain Cornwall in the Bill Beaumont at Twickenham. And to have him here dictating things. Quite a few leaders, and there's one of them right there. Alex Callan-Smith, captain of his country. Tell you what, it sounds like a tour to me. I think you should all go over and watch a Sweden game. That would be a little bit different from heading down to Plymouth Albion, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd take that over a trip down to Plymouth any day of the week.
Oh, what a turnover. He had 3 goes at it. Outstanding work. That was one of those ones where he looked at the referee and couldn't believe how much time he had. Could that be a momentum swinger for Rams who've not had a lot of turnovers at the breakdown?
So the impact of Ben Atkins there at the breakdown, kept himself on his feet. As you said, had a couple of goes at it, kind of couldn't believe the ref would let him keep going. And it looks like somebody's hurt from Richmond, unfortunately.
Well, James Langston looks in a little bit of trouble here for Richmond, and this is the gamble that both teams have taken with a 4-1 split on the bench and no obvious centre cover.
Well, the style of play that both teams have had so far, there's no surprise that it's a 4-1 split on the bench. You know, you're going to reinforce those forwards, you know, around this point, half an hour to go or so. It's when the big boys stop falling.
Yeah, look at that, hands on it, hands on it. Can I? Yeah, please, can I? Oh, thank you.
But his wide stance there, his legs were so far apart, he could just hold it there, really low to the ground.
So they do team yoga. Serious flexibility,
you know
that.
They do, every Monday.
You get in on that?
It was never my speciality, I'll be honest with you. Training generally wasn't my speciality, so.
Still, just a converted score in it. Rams 0, Richmond 7.
Thank you. Okay.
Ethan Benson
Edge of the line, fellas.
returning. 1-8 for both teams. So much effort. No surprise that a few knocks and bumps are starting to appear. Good line-out ball. Up to the 22. Referee's long arm goes out. Advantage to Callan-Smith.
No advantage. You've gone straight off your feet there. Back we come. Number 6.
Now then, 1 score in the game. Is this a chance to get 3 points on the board?
It would be, but again, I don't think it will be once that's taken out. Fraser's got the ball in his hand. He's ready to go for the corner. This would be
Edge of the line, fellas.
yeah, that's the decision Robbie Stampley makes. He'll always go for the 7, no doubt.
So speed bump was called. Watch out for Ethan Benson here. Because it was Alex Callan-Smith. We're not going to see it this time. So Rams concede the penalty. Massive effort from the Richmond pack.
Back lifter.
And this time it's the visitors let off the hook.
Fellas, take your own players away. Take your own players away. Back, number 5, blue, obstruction.
Dan Swain. An obstruction penalty, a tough one. When opportunities have been few and far between. Where you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Well, you do, and it's paid off so many times in the past, but, you know, as you said, you win some, you lose some, but we're getting a bit close now. I'd like to see some points on the board for the Blues.
So now Richmond's turn to exit. This was something that Rams found particularly tough in the first half. Just as that breeze starts to pick up and Jones sends it skyward, O'Meara again leads the chase and bounces. Been a couple of times he's got there first and either by design or otherwise has completely missed it. That one charged down. Tough ball to gather in the wet. Oh, great turnover. Lucas Schmidt.
Stop! Thank you.
So we're just starting to see the breakdown be a bit more competitive, aren't we? Both teams with a bit of luck now.
It is. It's opening up a little bit, isn't it? Allowing both teams to compete on the floor.
Don't pin him in. Hold there, please, fellas. And use it. Back you go.
Murray. Again, kick to compete is the option. The chase not quite good enough. Is suggestion of a tackle off the ball there as Jones gets absolutely melted.
11 pulls him off the ball after he kicked it, number 11. PK only, PK only.
Again, Langston gets to his feet gingerly.
They're taking some hits. That's a big one.
Burnsy, who have you got with you?
I've got a man who's been in the thick of the action. Number 7 for Richmond, Toby Sazor. How was it?
Yeah, tough out there. You know, both teams are putting their bodies on the line, and tough conditions, bit windy, but you know, I guess all to lose for both teams.
Richmond massively on top in that first 40 minutes. Why couldn't they quite convert that into points?
Yeah, you know, I think just need to be a bit more clinical in the final third, take our opportunities, but you know, we've still got it there to be taken.
Slightly different vibe to this second half. Obviously Richmond down defending at the moment. What do you think needs to come from Richmond to make this a W?
I don't think we need to force it. You know, just stick to our process, play as a team, and I think the win will come.
Says, always a pleasure. Okay, D-Rog, action happening your end.
Certainly is. Rams back in the 22 as the rain starts to drive. I hope that bench coat is as warm as the Richmond defence. They've smothered that ball again. And this is almost a mirror image of the first half, isn't it?
It's another good, more defence from Richmond there, as you said, smothering the ball up, covering it, not letting Rams had it at the back. I don't know how they lost that one. And yeah, you're right. Now we have Richmond 10 metres out from their line with a scrum to clear their lines.
Couple of changes coming in again for
There's some subs, Callum.
Richmond. Yes, there are, Jamie.
Number 9 and 13.
So Luke Jones off, Alex Schwartz
9 and 13.
He joined this season, long-serving Cornish Pirates scrum half, 6 seasons, over 100 appearances in the Championship, formerly with Rugby Gogledd Cymru up in North Wales as well. And Miles Wakeling coming in as well. He's another player who was involved in the Championship season when Richmond came down in 2023. Ex-London Scottish youngster.
I have now. It's very loud. Yeah, of course, time's off anyway.
Drama. Drama.
Of course.
Not the high-scoring game we were hoping for, but certainly a drama-filled one.
Still over 20 minutes to go. Still anyone's game.
Quote!
First touch then for Schwartz.
Set!
His jersey a lot cleaner than everyone else's.
High.
I don't think that'll last very long.
Oh, big pressure coming on from the Rams scrum. And very, very well done at number 8. And then Sam Pym.
Yeah,
tackled high.
Tom Voot just slipped up on that tackle, unfortunately. Hit him low, but rode high, and that was a good decision from the ref, to be fair.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no worries.
Whether it's Rams or Richmond or any other team in any other game this weekend or throughout the season, working so hard to get to that position in the pitch and then giving away a penalty to relieve that pressure you've built. So frustrating.
There's nothing worse, you know, particularly as a forward, you grind and grind and grind, and your head's in the mud and you look up and all you see is the ball going the other way.
Grind's a good word. It feels like a grind on nights like tonight.
It is, very much so.
Well, one for the statisticians.
Wait, no.
And I'm saying this like I know the answer, I don't. When was the last time Rams went an hour without scoring at home? Doesn't happen very often, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're right. That's not something that does happen too often. But there's not been the opportunity, he says, as the ball opens up nicely here for Rowan.
No, Rams running it from their own half. First time we've seen this. Axel Calling-Smith, who's the furthest man wide, but even he's inside the 15. Going up that channel, great fend, Morgan McRae. He's brought down. Another heavy carry, Robbie Stapley. Gets the applause of that crowd, banging the boards here on the near side. Edge to edge for the first time, Radani Arova. He takes some bringing down, it's Luke Spring who's charged with the task. It's much more like it from Rams. Bit more energy. I think that ball's gone backwards. Oh.
No advantage.
I think Richmond a bit lucky there. I think that ball came off the boot. Alas, it's gone loose, and you're always rolling the dice when it does.
Yeah, I think it was. You could question the weather before, but it's taken Rams 60 minutes to start playing Rams rugby, and that's what we like to see here at Old Bath Road. So hopefully we can get a few more of those faces together, get that ball moving wide, get Axel involved, get Rowan Grundy involved. And here comes for Rams the talisman at loose hand, Ant Maris. He'll be looking to prove a point now. I think when you got Ant Maris and James Baker in the front row.
Well, tell us about Ant then, because he's nearing 100 appearances for the club. He's looked on very favourably here. What do you all like so much about him?
He's just a good guy. We spoke before the game about the people they bring into this club. Ant came up from I can't remember what club it was, somewhere up in Oxfordshire, level 7 or 8, Wallingford. That's right. He came up from there, and he did his apprenticeship, played for the second team, and made his way. And he's now, well, I think with James and Ant now in the front row, this could be an interesting scrum tie for Richmond.
Well, it was in and out pretty quickly last time, wasn't it, for Richmond? And I can't imagine that tactic changing with the experience now. Either side of Morgan McRae.
Yeah, Richmond, you're right. They're smart. They're not stupid. They'll get the ball in. They'll get it out as soon as possible. But if they can get the shove on early, put the pressure on.
Bind!
Into the last quarter on our clock.
Set! Keep it up.
In it comes from Shorts. Out. And to the open side. Good solid scrum. A good ball here and a good chance for Richmond to attack through. Wakeling doesn't stick in O'Meara's hands.
2 knock-ons, first by Gold.
Great tackle there from Rowan Grundy.
Scrum.
Just holding on to the bootstraps.
Much better patience.
See, at the 60-minute mark, James Baker's walking a little more gingerly from scrum to scrum. So
I think he's earned that right.
He has, but he'll be priding himself on the scrum, so he'll be going for it again.
Let's go, fellas. Tiny bit to the left, tiny bit to the left, thank you. Let's go.
This is a bit of a rejig here for Richmond. The previous scrum, they had Wakeling stood in the midfield. Now he's back on the flank, and they've got Lucas Schmid in the midfield, so they're alternating back rowers with James Langston leaving the field.
Bind! It's both of you. It's both hookers moving forward. Just have that balance and patience, please. It is both sides. Let's go. Same mark.
So Murray still out there. They've got Carl McGee on the bench. Should he be required?
Bind. Set.
But this scrum's taken about 90 seconds. That does not suit Rams, who apply the pressure here. They've got the advantage. What can they do with it?
Well,
they can go cross-field and find it. Miles offside. Not the cleanest of strikes from Grundy. You can see the idea, and the execution didn't quite match.
No, we've had some luck with crossfield kicks, but that one not the best. But I think Rowe knew very well that the advantage was being played, so a bit of a shot to nothing.
Huge pressure on that scrum, though.
Just on the 5.
Yeah, I think the Rams will look to put that pressure on every scrum now. Gives us a chance to get the ball down there.
Just overheard someone having a word with the referee then about the number of penalties at scrum time. It's perhaps not as many as they think, but it's certainly been an area of dominance. Here's another look at it there.
Straight away you can see the tight head pushing inwards and Ant Maris going straight through, and
Spring popping up on that.
That's right, and you know,
side as well.
When you have a dominant scrum, you want to continue dominating.
Oh, not straight. Not straight. All that effort to get there.
Well, we spoke about it, didn't we? Particularly the forwards, you make all that grind to get up the pitch, turn the scrum over, and then all it takes is a wayward throw to have you back to square one a bit.
Yeah, just slipped out of the left hand there of Morgan McRae.
But it gives James and Anthony Maris another opportunity.
If they win a penalty here, we'll say it was deliberate. So Rams, they're 30 metres up the pitch, but it's taken them nearly 4 minutes to get there with the reset scrums.
Not just 4 minutes, but a lot of energy. Those plays they've gone through.
Re-engage. Hold your patience, please. Hold your patience.
Well, he did warn them about patience, didn't he, the referee, in that previous scrum closer to the halfway line. God, what a let-off for Richmond. The one area of the game where Rams have been really dominant.
Yeah, and that's a frustrating part, you know, scrum for a pre-engage against a dominant pack. It's a brave call to make for a referee, but
let's go, fellas.
He knows what he's doing.
So here's Will Goffey, talked about the Buck Super Rugby boys. He's the one who Buck Super Rugby fans will be familiar with, formerly of Heartbreak. And this is a great maul here from Richmond, making metres, taking time. And still going, and it's defending by Morgan McRae in the end.
No.
Schwartz. Interestingly, Richmond noticeably playing a bit slower here.
Easy up you come, fellas.
Still plenty of time in this game. They don't want to stop playing. 15 minutes to go. Schwartz digs for it.
Again, it's a lot of narrow phases, which is making its mark. And oh God, there we go, another big carry there.
Great leg drive. Dennett finds Nugent. That half charged out. Where's it going to bounce? It's going to bounce into the hands of Calling Smith. Oh, big clear out there coming from Litchfield. Sorry, Baker. It was well stood up to.
7, stop.
And a big clearance. It's a leggy chase from Rams. And no surprise either. 3 waiting in the backfield. Andrew Lamb, the first to get there. Decent kick from him as well.
Skillful kick from Lamb. They spotted that he was outside his 22. Put a bit of turn on the ball, so it bounced and went in. So here we are again.
Watch off.
Just a little fade, wasn't it? Just open up the stance.
Sides, fellas, watch off.
Lovely bit of skill.
5 iron with some left to right.
If that was me, it'd have gone the opposite way.
So with that, we take a little breather.
Yeah, of course.
I just don't want to take.
Yeah.
And you penalise if I'm sorry.
I'll soon talk to you if you're not.
Sorry. If I'm offside, just let me know.
Yeah, no worries.
Ben Atkins there. Great communication.
Yeah, he's shown his experience there, chat to the ref, and, you know, just letting the ref know he knows what he's doing. You know, and asking for the ref's opinion, and the ref's been very good. So it's a good conversation to have with the referee from the senior players.
Certainly a short injury break here. It's a shame because he likes to keep his hair nice and dry, but I might send Burnsy out to try and catch hold of one of the Rams boys in a minute.
Time is still off. Time is still off.
Do you know what? Let's get this line out of the way, and the next break in play, Burnsy. I'm going to keep you busy.
Good
Richmond
sack,
ball.
first man.
13 minutes to go. Well set.
Tackle release.
Still going forward here for the gold, red and blacks.
Ball is trapped by your own player.
Again, they're just not in a hurry at all, Richmond.
Use it.
13 minutes
Don't pull
remaining
them off.
on
Don't
our
pull them
clock.
off.
Schwartz. Well, he's been told to use it here. Needs to go a little bit quicker, I think. Well, with the ball in touch, 11 minutes of this one to go. Burnsy is pitch side.
A man who was tearing up trees and felling Richmond trees. Harry Stone, who's, mate, huge performance in that first 40 minutes particularly. Tell us what's it like out there. I mean, it's we were hoping for a 100-point classic, but we're getting a purist arm wrestle.
Yeah, I think just the weather makes it such a physical battle. You know, being out there, it's tough to get any real momentum. But yeah, doing our best to get on the front foot, but not much we can do.
Well, I mean, look, you're sort of saying we can't get on the front foot, but at the end of the day, Richmond had all this pressure. You're only trailing by 7. The game's on a knife edge. There's 12 minutes to go. We can manoeuvre the cameraman round this way if we want, so that we can see the action. Are you kind of pleased? You feel you're in a good position still?
Yeah, I mean, in the second half now, as you can see, like we are getting on that front foot now. I think it's to do with those collisions. We're winning them now. In the first half it was hard because we were on the back foot and we had good scramble, but now we're winning those collisions and we're getting up the field, so it's looking good.
And look, I think it's getting to a crucial point. So let's throw back to D-Rog here.
Yeah, Burnsy, keep him with you, but let's see if we can get some points on the board here for Rams. Feels as though they've stressed Richmond here, and they've got a penalty advantage as well. Wakeling, side entry, so Morgan McRae can have another go. Quick ball here, picked up by Voot. Now they can put some width on it. There's a touch on that. Here's Andrew Lamb, steps back inside. Oh, had Schwartz knocked that on? Referee says no, and Richmond just about surviving.
No advantage, back we go.
And we go back for the penalty. Now then, gone for the corner so many times. Rams need 2 scores to win this game. Is 3 points a sensible decision?
No, I'd be. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, they're going for the corner. I wouldn't be surprised they'd opted for the scrum there.
Well, they have gone for the corner. Let's take another look at this. Looked for all the world like it was on out wide. Now, as Alex Schwartz knocked this ball on, as it's gone a little bit wider. We're going to be coming back to you soon, Burnsy, but let's see how this plays out first. Massive line out, massive moment as we approach the last 10 minutes. Good ball here for Rams to go to work. And Maris on the ball, it's spilled out the side. Another opportunity goes begging. Richmond survive. 70 minutes on the clock. It's still Rams 0, Richmond 7. But how much longer for? She can't believe it, and Paddy, I don't think you can either.
Well, it's just, it looks to me as if Richmond have done their homework about the Maulers. They knew it's a weapon that the Rams are going to use, and they're getting in there, disrupting it very, very well. Change for Rams. Mikey Duda's coming on, I imagine, on the back row. Yeah, Tom Voot coming off. So Mikey Duda straight in for his first appearance this year.
Well, he made his debut against Richmond. If he can make an impact on this game.
Well, let's hope so.
In fact, he scored on his debut against Richmond as well.
He did, and again, we talk about the grassroots. He's the player who's come up through the ranks at the club and got himself up to play at this, this high level.
Interestingly, the energy's changed here at Old Bath Road as well. All of a sudden, they've started to bang the boards. Everyone's getting a little bit tense. Everyone realising that, they're 1 score away from tying the game, but if they do get a score here, the momentum will change massively, and we're in for a real rock and roll last 10 minutes.
Yeah, there's nothing more that the fans at Old Bath Road enjoy than the Rams playing well. When they start throwing the ball about and making yards like they have the last few phases, they get right behind the team.
Set!
In it comes from Schwartz. Oh, it's spilled out the back. It's Messi! A game-breaking moment out of nothing.
It looks as if Mikey Duda's got the score off the back of that scrub. Sure.
He loves scoring against Richmond. He's not even had time to get his jersey dirty.
So well, look, here we go. So not a huge amount of pressure coming through that scrum, but it seemed to get to the back of the breakdown, back of the scrum. Duda's there, pick up straight over the...
Oh, there was a little slip at the back. It was a tough ball to deal with. And Duda was on hand. What an impact.
Wow, that is what you want. That's the impact, isn't it? You need that coming off the bench. And you watch this crowd get up for this now. After Fraser hopefully slots this crowd will be going crazy for the last 8 or 9 minutes. I imagine that ball down in clubhouse corner.
Fraser Honey to level the match. Oh, he's missed it wide. And Richmond keep the narrowest of leads, 5-7, but Rams are alive.
Well, we're back in it. That's a mistake you don't see very often from Fraser Honey, but as you said, the Rams are back in it. The crowd are on their feet. You can see the energy is lifting. You need to get behind that team.
Try for Mikey Duda, try for Sam Pym, missed conversion from Fraser Honey, missed penalty from Cal Grieve, errors from both teams, defence is on top. And it has led to a pretty intoxicating cocktail here on a Friday night.
Sets up for an interesting last 8 minutes.
Well, Richmond, really, they started to slow things down. They stopped playing. Will they live to regret it, or will they hit the afterburners now and get another score to change the momentum back their way? Look at this effort from Rams to try and wrestle that ball back instead. It's Richmond who are still on it. Big effort from Dan Swain. Him and the entire engine room for both teams have been relentless today. Schwartz.
17, move
that
back.
One sent high. Richmond happy to invite this pressure on. It's a good chase.
10, move back.
And then Murray decides not to go to the boot this time. Again, Rams in their own half. They're in between the 10 and the 22.
Not now. And use, please.
Plenty of depth on that from Murray. Do you know what? That's a really good take in front of some crowd who are baying for blood. Big collision on Cal Grieve. It's not shy of that contact zone. Oh, Rams looking for the turnover. Oh, just
let
off
go,
the feet.
let go!
He's been told to let go 4 times there.
No,
incredibly lucky not to give away the penalty. Again, it's narrow from Richmond, and Rams gobbled that up all night. Schmidt, first time you've really seen him in anger, and he's knocked that ball on there. Gradinia over, thought he ripped it. Instead, the referee says it's gone backwards. Approaching the last 5 minutes. It's the longest Richmond have
It's your own man's foot.
spent on the ball, perhaps, in the entire second half.
5, take a step, please.
Just looking to close this game out, but it's a risky game to play. That ball swirls in the wind. Really good take from Lamb, but he's bailed out into touch. Pragmatic from Richmond, to say the least.
Smart, very smart. When they look to be kicking out on their own, on the opposition 10-metre line, I couldn't work out what they were doing, but smart play, trying to keep the ball.
A huge thank you to some of the Rams partners. We have Duncan Lynch Precision Engineering and Courtiers. Just another of the very important building blocks of this excellent club.
They are. Duncan Lynch, you can see the stand on the other side of the pitch. That's courtesy of Duncan Lynch. That's one of their handy jobs.
And another Friday Night Lights coming up as well against Isha, another huge game.
No, 8, off you come, that's a ruck.
But they're all huge games from here on in for both of these ambitious clubs who feel as though they belong in the tier above. But Richmond just about on the right side of the scoreboard, just about on the right side of the clock, and definitely in the right part of the pitch here. Nice tip there from Spring. Really good hands from the replacement prop. But another superb tackle, the defensive effort tonight from both Rams and Richmond as Schmidt goes again. 20 years of age, taken to senior rugby like a duck to water as Jake Monson gets absolutely walloped.
Ball is here.
Is that Rowan Grundy involved in the tackle? The clock keeps ticking. 77 minutes.
Okay,
both teams have got to be squeaky clean here. If Rams concede a penalty, that could be it. Got to be selective about which breakdowns they go for too. Spring. And that's Nugent putting his hand up. Another one, phenomenal effort from him. Schwartz. This real patience here from Richmond. Benson. Dan Swain thought he could turn that one over. Referee disagrees and Nugent goes again. Scrambles into the 22. Another score here would bury it for Richmond. Callum Grieve still just about flirting with that game line. Spring gets put on his back.
No, onside.
It's been ripped and it's Rams ball. Chance to counter-attack. Long way to go.
Backwards.
Need to be patient here, Rams. They're on the ball. They've got 2.5 minutes to go the length. What's the decision here? It's a long way to go, but if you kick it away, you're running the risk of Richmond just going through the phases for 2 minutes. What an end to this game. Any score will do it for Rams. And Murray sends that up to halfway. Steady take by Cal Grieve. O'Meara. Swung towards touch and buried into touch. Not a lot O'Meara could do there.
Lovely tackle from Morgan McRae there. Maybe one last chance. Bundling Richmond into touch. Rams one last chance, maybe.
Referees confirmed there 90 seconds. 90 seconds for Rams to find a score. 90 seconds for Richmond to hold on and maintain their undefeated record at the start of this National 1 season. What a finish. Just the drama we were hoping for on a Friday night. Oh, but a breakdown in communication. Rams don't send up a jumper. And Richmond can snaffle it. Forward goes Wakeling. There are hands on that. Oh, wow! The turnover, the jackal, the opportunity.
I don't think I can handle this too much. The blood pressure's going through the roof.
You got 60 seconds. 1 minute to win it for Rams.
Clive Woodward says it takes 35 seconds to score a try, so we should be okay.
On the line, fellas, on the line.
Well, this was the moment. It was a strong carry, a little bit too strong, and he got isolated. Huge commitment to get over that ball. Rams v Isha, just before Christmas. Surely you're going to come and enjoy that one. Oh, knock on. Knock on. Scrum time. Attacking opportunity. Maybe an opportunity to win the penalty and kick the points to win.
Yeah, I think any Ram supporter on this place would take a scrum penalty now. Unfortunately, James Baker is crawling around on the floor, so...
To play 80 minutes at tight head at any level of rugby is phenomenal. To do it at his age and his experience is a gargantuan effort.
He'll be up, he'll be ready for this scrum, don't you worry.
Referee says 20 seconds. There is the man, Mikey Duda, who gave Rams hope, gave them belief.
So yes, here we go. Scrum penalty and a penalty to win it potentially.
Bearing in mind, though, the last scrum penalty went Richmond's way.
It did. But the one before that, Mikey Duda scored off it, so we'll see which way it goes.
Let's play.
So no one on the short side here for Rams, everybody on the open side. What an end to this game.
Crouch.
A game where defences have been on top, but it's attack who've got the last chance. Everything is on this.
Set. Keep it high.
And Rams trying to leave this in. Richmond
Start using.
holding steady for now. Those studs slipping in the turf. So it's over to the backs to do something. Radani Aroba puts some hands on it. That's Calling Smith off his wing, driving the legs. Richmond think they've got it! Richmond have got it! They remain undefeated!
Tap it first, though,
They've come to Old Bath Road.
They haven't kicked it out yet.
And they have tasted victory. Cal Greaves sends it to the capacity crowd. It's a record-breaking night here at Rams, but it's a night that ends in Richmond delight. They went 75 scoreless minutes, the away team, but it was enough to win. It was enough to extend their lead at the top of the table. Resilient Rams gave themselves hope, but they're 2 points shy. It finishes Rams 5, Richmond 7. And National League One rugby is alive and kicking.
Well, I don't think it's quite the game we were expecting, but it was certainly a game befitting the top two teams in National League One. You know, I don't think anyone would have called a 7-5 even at half time. No one would have called a 7-5.
We might have thought after the first 6 or 7 minutes.
But, you know, the two teams and not many people, they left their hearts out there and they worked hard, and there's a lot of sore bodies out there, I would imagine.
Oh, there certainly will be. Well, the full-time score says it all. The state of those jerseys and those bodies and those faces says it all. A gargantuan effort. What a start to your rugby weekend, wherever you're watching around the world. Do stick with us as well, because Burnsy's going fishing around. We're going to be getting some post-match reaction from him. But let's get yours then, Paddy, because you're a Rams man. It's a night that belongs to Richmond, but so many positives to take from this as a club night.
Yeah, as an occasion, great occasion, but as a rugby night, not a good night for Rams. It's disappointing. It's great to have so many people here. It's great that the appetite for rugby in the area is growing, and this, you know, an occasion like this and does whole heaps to help that and push it through and get the local people in the area in to watch the game. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a performance business, and I don't think too many people are going to be happy with the result.
Well, those in gold, red and black certainly will be. And they'd have taken 7-5, 57-55, 9-6, whatever, to come here on a night like this against a team like this and get a win. That is some graft from those Richmond men. But I think both teams, when it comes to the analysis session at the start of next week, will say we weren't clinical enough.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably a game that was lost by Rams rather than particularly won by Richmond. Saying that, Richmond did their best to lose it at times, but Rams certainly did not capitalise on that. And as you say, the analysis for next week will be interesting. Yeah, there'll be some frank conversations had, I would imagine.
Well, here are the highlights. This was the opening try, again after that really positive start from Richmond. A couple of good line-outs. It was very obvious what the game plan was. It was give it to the big men. And those big men, Jake Monson, George Nugent, Ethan Benson, Sam Pym, just carried on going. A monster effort from them, and that was reflected on the other side of the park as well. The likes of Stapley and Swain and Stone and Voot. I think all of them, they'll be sore bodies in the morning, won't they?
They will, and they'll be disappointed with the loss. You know, that, as you say, those Stapley and Voot, they've been here for a long time, and you know, Rams kind of goes through their veins, and to come out on an occasion like this, and they'll be disappointed not to have done it for the fans. I think the whole squad will be disappointed with that. I think they pride themselves on putting a show on for the fans, and we saw it in glimpses we saw glimpses of what Rams can do, but unfortunately just not enough out there.
Well, that was the moment Mikey Duda went over. And in the rain, in the wind, on a greasy surface, just coming onto the pitch as well. It was a great pickup from Duda.
Yeah, it's a lovely pickup off the bootstraps, and he's still had a little bit to do to get over the line, but 2 games against Richmond, 2 tries. That's pretty good stats. I'd retire now.
Oh, and the conversion missed. Do you know what? A draw would have probably been a fair result. I know that's a cop-out to say.
But as I said at the time, Fraser, very seldom would Fraser miss a kick like that. He'll be disappointed. But he's hit a lot of kicks to win games in the past, so you're not going to hold that against him.
Well, there's Rob Powell in the middle there. I don't think he's going to do the okey-cokey, but he might afford himself a dance tonight. Big smiles on faces there of Richmond. It's a game of tiny, tiny margins. Imagine holding a 1-score lead for 75 minutes away from home against a team who are joint top of the table. The weather has just gone even worse. You can see Burnsy and Chris out there. Let's leave them out there for a little bit longer, shall we? They're going to take us home, but no surprise that they have found a little bit of Richmond delight to start with. We will be hearing from the Rams too, but Burnsy, it's all smiles on faces there because Richmond have won an epic.
It is smiles on dials down here pitchside. I'm just going to ask Tyler to just pan around, have a look at this. Have a look at this. This is the travelling Richmond support. They organised coaches to come and bring the non-playing squad and also a whole host of others along. That is the level of importance that Richmond place upon this. Tyler, come back. We got guests. Here we go. And we've got a man who put 80 minutes, 86, 7, 8 minutes. Who knows out there? George, you're a Richmond lad, born and bred. We'll get into that in a second. But tell us quite what it was like to be in the fog of war out there for all that time.
Yeah, it was very tough today. We knew like after Rotherham they'd bounce back. Obviously the conditions didn't help. It wasn't going to be one game with the ball being chucked around. It was definitely one for the purists. But yeah, it was they put up a great fight, and obviously the fans on their back, the 16th man, were brilliant.
All right, let's talk about the Richmond psychology throughout that match, because it was absolute dominance for the first 30 minutes. Only 7 points to show, more opportunities at the end of the first half, and then it was a different game in the second, and in many ways Richmond were hanging on there at the end.
Yeah, that's fair to say. I mean, we knew we had to come out of the blocks well, because we knew they would, and I think you could say it was maybe the worst thing for us, scoring early. We thought that every single chance we get was going to end in a score, but we are playing some really good stuff out there, and I think we tightened it up. We could have put a lot of points on, but credit to them for coming back and sticking in the fight and making it a real dog experience.
Chris, like the look of what you saw of Richmond and George out there today?
I was just going to ask George what was kind of said at half-time, because you got 7 points of all the territory. Was it kind of not feel sorry for yourselves a little bit and just kind of keep digging in because you knew Rams were going to come back?
Yeah, we knew they were going to come back, and we knew we were playing some good stuff there. Like I just said, we just need to tighten it up a bit.
Okay, right, yeah.
Sideways weighing and just really help us. And they just really wanted it today, and they're it's really tough.
Just one more for me, George. I know Rob said before the Sedgley Park swap. After the Sedgley Park win, it was going to be a really important month for you. Obviously, coming here was always going to be difficult, but 2 home games for Christmas. Just how big will it feel waking up tomorrow morning with this victory going into 2 home games for the break?
Yeah, very, very good. We have a very tough, this game and the next 2 are very, very tough. So we're going to have a good laugh tonight, obviously Friday night. Good laugh and reset on Monday, and come back into training and relish that challenge. Okay.
Right, just one last thing. You are a Richmond lad. You've been through the minis, the juniors. You had an incredible coach at under 21 level, if I recall. And look, now you're throwing on the first team jersey and top of the league. So you've seen the whole evolution of this squad of where it is at the moment. Yeah. Tell us about the atmosphere at the club at the moment.
Well, just on that, it just shows, credit to Rob and the other coaches, that the Richmond one club mentality that we try and promote is that everybody gets an equal chance. Like I say, I've come through the ranks from the 5th team, 4ths, all the way to the 1s, and it's just a great environment to be around. Knowing that anybody who is 16, 17, about to jump into adults rugby has a chance to play National 1 and hopefully Championship.
Fantastic. You're great out there. Enjoy the celebrations, George. Robbie. Right, let me bring you in. You've been a good sport, waiting very patiently in some atrocious conditions, but they're ones that you and your crew fought in valiantly this evening. I know you're going to be feeling gutted that you didn't get that W, but I mean, there's a huge amount to take from that performance from you and Rams.
Yeah, I think. Do you want to...
Yeah.
I think we stuck at it. It's a full 80-minute performance from both sides, and I think ultimately a bounce of the ball goes the other way, and you get another score either side. That is, and unfortunately that moment didn't come for us. They were built, defended a hell of a lot, but we just struggled to break them down maybe in attack. And yeah, it didn't manage to happen for us today, but they played well. They come out, they stuck at it, and they've built from last year. It's good.
I mean, you seem relatively unfazed by the loss, and we said at the start of the evening the league isn't going to be one loss here today. I mean, it's obviously a big deal, top of the table, you know, teams locked on points and all of that, but it is a long old journey. I mean, I say with the greatest deference, you've been around the rugby block a bit, and you've seen games like this, you've seen title races like this, and there's a lot more to come, and particularly from Rams.
Well, yeah, exactly. So we're 12 games in, not even halfway through the season yet. So to think if we mope about it and get too beat up now, that's you're just going to let the season run away from you. So yeah, you got to take these losses two in a row. All right, it's not particularly great, but you got to bounce back from that, and that's hopefully how we go on to try and progress and catch up and take it, you know.
Well, last question for both of our sakes here. You know, bumper crowd though, like Rams is in a great place as a club.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've built and the club has grown and we've developed, and I've been here again for a long time and seen the way it's pushed on, and we just want to keep doing the same thing and keep that sort of environment of building for it within. And obviously you always bring players in from other areas. No club doesn't do that, but if we can keep building within a core of ourselves and in the area, yeah, it should take us in the right direction.
We look forward to seeing that next step in the direction. Let's get back in with your boys. Thank you so much, and commiserations. Right, last word from you, Chris, as an expert on National League rugby, particularly Nat 1 at the moment, the contest that we've seen and the season ahead.
Yeah, and you know, as I said at half-time, Joe, we might have wanted to see more highlights, but give us that last 10 minutes again, because the tension in here, you could cut it with a knife. It was just absolutely fantastic. You couldn't take your eyes off it. Obviously went the way of Richmond, but yeah, I mean, it sets it up beautifully for December. You know, Richmond now, as I said to George there, have got 2 home games. They've got Rotherham to come next week and the local derby before Christmas, which is going to be a big occasion at the athletic ground. So it sets it up beautifully, and even at the other end of the table, there's still so much to play for. So, and as Robbie said, we're not even halfway through it, so much to look forward to, Joe.
Chris, you're a good man for surrendering your Friday night for conditions like this and covering the league so passionately as you do. And to all of you who've sat in the warm at home, you know what the next step is. Next time you get the opportunity, get down to your local club and catch some rugby. It may not be a long try-lights reel for this evening, but it was certainly a top-of-the-table thriller that went down to the wire. But the bottom line is Richmond remain undefeated, now peerless at the top of the Christmas log, but a great deal more to come. And hopefully Next Gen and the National League are going to be bringing you plenty more streams throughout the season. Till then, good night.
With the right kit, you're ready for anything. United, connected, unstoppable. Whatever your sport, we are your sporting partner. Creating your kit, your way. For every team, for every challenge, for every aspiration. Feel seen, feel ready, feel part of the team. Kit on, game on.